Presentan P1.
Conoce Termas de Río Hondo, en Santiago del Estero.
Pauni, www.pauni.com.ar.
Citroën.
Desde un lugar legendario como el óvalo de Indianápolis, amigos de P1, vamos a presentar esta historia que representa para el programa algo muy especial. Es la primera entrevista personal con un campeón mundial de Fórmula 1, nada más y nada menos, alguien que trascendió el ambiente del automovilismo como lo es Mario Andretti, quien hoy a los 78 años luce muy pero muy joven, un piloto con un pasado prácticamente entre Lotus y Ferrari, su pasado fuerte dentro de la Fórmula 1, que se llevó aquel título de 1978 en una época hermosa de la Fórmula 1 con aquel Lotus, con el efecto suelo. Bueno, habla de todo, de su relación con Carlos Reutemann, del Lotus, de aquella vez cuando lo llamaron a Ferrari en 1982 y clavó la pole en Monza, pero de ese momento triste también cuando le tocó compartir el fin de semana con Ronnie Peterson, el sueco que perdió la vida en el clásico circuito italiano. Prepárese, siéntese, va a hablar de todo, también de Ayrton Senna, de Indycar, de todo su pasado automovilístico. Mario Andretti en P1.
You know, I was born and raised in Italy. I'm Italian, and the very first race that I saw as a young lad when I was 14 years old was in Monza, at the Italian Grand Prix. My idol, Alberto Ascari, and all of that. So I remember even Froilan Gonzalez was still there. I was good friends with Fangio eventually, not then. But that's where my love for the sport, you know, really started. And then for me to win, I won the Italian Grand Prix in 77. I won the 1,000 Ks in Monza. And then the following year, I won that race too, but we were penalized a second. They said that we jumped the start. But anyway, then I clinched the World Championship there. So the meaning for Monza is, you know, that's my home, you know, my home ground. You know, that's my home Grand Prix, if you will. And so even as a driver, in 1977, I won Long Beach Grand Prix, which is America, you know, where I live. And then I won Monza, where I was born. So, you know, very, very special for me, for sure. And I'm probably the only one that appreciates that, but that's how strong it is. My career was long and there were many. I cannot even just mention just one. And there were too many. Almost every decade you have somebody that sets the standard. When I first broke into Formula One, it was Jackie Stewart. You know, when I broke into, first time into Indy cars, it was A.J. Foyt. But then there were others, but he was a standout. But over the decades, there's always somebody that's very special, and you know, Lauda, and on, you know, Fittipaldi. And I've had, unfortunately, many friends, you know, that were killed during the different decades, and close friends. And if you think that that's something that, you know, that possibly won't happen, then you should not be in the business. You have to approach this. I'm willing to take the calculated risk. So as sad as it was, to lose Senna, it did not affect the reason why I retired, at all. But when you lose someone like that, things are never the same. I mourn my own way. I lost my best friend, teammate in Monza when I clinched the world championship. I couldn't celebrate, probably the best day in my racing life. And but it is what it is. The sport can be cruel. We know that. The sport has been fabulous to myself and to my son, but my twin brother was injured. Only had 10-year career because he had to retire through injuries. I have my younger son, unfortunately, who also had a very bad accident here in '92 and no fault of his, but he almost lost both his legs. So we know that there could be a price to pay, and unfortunately, however, nowadays we've reached a point in the safety that is wonderful for today's drivers. They probably have the best chance ever to retire on their own terms, and that's a work in progress. The safety continues, to improve, and that's what makes the sport, I think, very viable in today that is so commercial, because sponsors that come in the sport and spend millions of dollars to be part of it, they don't want to go to funerals, they want to celebrate. So, and we've reached that level, I think, that, and knock on wood, that we are okay. The sport has been very responsible, finally, to really deal with safety very vigorously. So, happy times ahead.
Nuevo Citroën C4 Lounge. Deja que el confort te mueva.
Citroën.
La fuerza de la mayoría. En Argentina, 6 de cada 10 tractores son Pauni. Pauni. www.pauni.com.ar.
Alineadora Mackie Parts Superfast. Alineación 3D a máxima velocidad. Macking Parts. www.mackingparts.com.
I Colin Chapman falls into the category of it's probably irreplaceable in so many ways. You know, there was only one Colin Chapman, you know, in my opinion. And he was quite the maverick, you know, extremely intelligent and passionate, of course, about the sport. And I was one of the fortunate drivers that was with him when he was on the upsurge. If you look, he was such a maverick, you know, he was always searching for some things, thinking, like we say, outside the box, not normal, just outside the box. And but when you were with him at the right time, you had the best chance of winning a world championship. But you look at his career, it was peaks and valleys, you know, really, really good, not so good, because he was always experimenting with things. And but for me, again, I just joined at the right time with him, and it was marvelous. You know, it was I achieved my ultimate goal of winning the world championship because of Colin Chapman.
The air passing under the car helps to hold it on the road. Holds the car down, it improves the grip of the tyres on the road, improves the stability of the car, and improves the safety of the car.
Well, I was at the very beginning of that development. The ground effect was discovered in a strange way because of the shape that was determined to do on the side of the car, a wing shape. And then from testing, we didn't initially think that we would have a ground effects car. It just developed into that. And I was happy to be part of that because I learned a lot as a driver about the dynamics and what really works and what to look for, and which I think benefited me, you know, in my career in the development that we subsequently, you know, as you can see, the first time that you finally, like an airplane, you not only are concerned with the surface airflow, but underneath as well. And once you understand that, those dynamics, and how to speed up the air, create a low pressure, then you go in this way, you know. You have opposite lift instead of like airplane is, down. So the more downforce, the more that you have, the quicker you're going to be around the corners and all that. So it opened a whole new dimension in race car driving because of the increase in cornering speeds. Carlos Reutemann was my teammate for a year, and I like to think we were good friends. I had great respect for him, and he's very, very quick driver, you know. And I still can't believe that he lost the championship because he was strong. And when he was my teammate, obviously, you know, he was one of the strongest teammates I ever raced against. So, you know, it's Carlos is quality of driver that is one of the few drivers that should have been world champions, like Sterling Moss and such, that level, that he missed out, but he has the quality of a world champion for sure.
hay un destino que te está esperando.
I feel very blessed that I was able to have a long career, and I expanded my horizons in all the different categories, which it took me. I drove races in 6 continents, and I won races in every one of them, at least one race. So you can see over the span of since 1959, I just covered a lot of ground and made a lot of fans, no question about it. And the fans are, the basics of our sport is we don't exist without fans, and I love all the emotions that you experience with fans, and they give you so much, always encouragement, good wishes. But no matter where I go, pretty much in the world, it's the world is knowledge. I mean, no matter what country you go to, they know about Formula One, or even especially this race in Indianapolis. When I won Indianapolis in 1969, I got fan mail from the Tibet region. I didn't know that the news reached that area about a race. So it tells you, just how global this event is, and how important it is for us, as drivers, to be able to be here and then try to win it.
Why is it so difficult to win the 500? Why is the most important race in the world?
Well, if I knew what the formula was to be able to win, I would bottle it and sell it. It's just that it's difficult, and for sometimes for no particular reason. I've dominated this race. More than 4-time winners have done it, and my son Michael has done the same thing. I'm 3rd all-time in laps led, so I led more laps than all but one of the 4-time winners. So they knew I've been here, and so that's what I have to show for. But again, if the race was 400 miles, I would have won it 6 times. It was just too long. Should have been 400 miles. So but it's like I said, it's hard to explain. As a driver, to be able to, say, even be a champion in the series, you have to be a complete driver, be able to get results on the super speedway, shorter oval, and street courses, natural road courses, and that's what has always attracted me. I love Formula One, no question about it, but it's strictly a specialty in road racing. Here, in this series, you have to be more complete. And all you have to do is ask some of the Formula One drivers that have competed, on the ovals. They will tell you, how challenging that is. But open wheel, single seaters has always been my specialty. I've driven sports prototypes, stock cars, NASCAR. But open wheel, single seaters, a la Indy cars and Formula One has definitely been my specialty and what I'd love to drive. The fans want entertainment. They want the spectacle, and when you have a lot of action and not just 1 or 2 cars battling, they want to see much more battling, and I think this series is providing that. Now, on the other side, with Formula One, I think it's fascinating there on the technical side to see each team being their own manufacturer, and then having, especially the top teams, having their cars are so different, even with different engines, but with the times, like within 1/10 of a second, you know what I mean? So they're almost equal performance, but totally different way of achieving the same thing. So you know, each discipline has to offer something different. You have to distinguish yourself. It would be wonderful to see the exchange and the crossover, but it's impossible with Formula One because they have Monaco the same day. You know, so when there's a clash, because when I was doing Formula One, I had to have, you know, I missed Indianapolis, even though I was still driving Indy cars as well. So when there's a clash with dates, it's impossible. With Fernando, it was a special situation, as we know. He was not very competitive with McLaren, so McLaren gave him the blessing to come here and get an opportunity to be competitive, which he was. In fact, he impressed everyone. The fans loved him here. They embraced him in such a way that you know, he never expected, and he was very competitive because he was with the right team here. And this is the only race on the planet that you have the luxury to practice, like you have almost 30 hours of practice, barring weather, you know, before you qualify. So by the time you reach the time of the race, you're almost a veteran, you know, you're really prepared. And that's why it's good if somebody comes in from the outside, you have the opportunity to really feel, you know what, I could possibly go out there and win. I'll make it simple for you. On Sunday, I would like to have breakfast in Monaco, have lunch in Indianapolis, and have dinner in Charlotte. How's that?
It's good.
Okay.
Another day.
And another day be in Le Mans. And then meet in Argentina after that.
Realmente un honor entrevistar a Mario Andretti, que nos recibió en el VIP de Firestone, al lado de la gomería, donde atendieran los neumáticos para las 500 millas de Indianápolis. Un Andretti que realmente habló de todo, dio respuestas largas. Yo le pedía disculpas porque no solo hablaba del automovilismo estadounidense, hablaba mucho de Fórmula 1, porque en Argentina tenemos muchos fanáticos de la Fórmula 1, pero dijo, ese también es y fue mi mundo. Así que Andretti se puso a hablar de su relación con Colin Chapman, las opiniones sobre Colin Chapman, tal vez un genio irrepetible en la historia de la Fórmula 1. Espero que les haya gustado. Vamos a tratar de buscar algún otro campeón de Fórmula 1. Mándenos a las redes sociales quién les gustaría que entrevistáramos entre los campeones mundiales de Fórmula 1 en la rica historia de la máxima categoría mundial. Nos vemos el martes que viene, espero que lo hayan disfrutado.